Tambo Airport, and I am about to leave to go to Poland to compete at the IPSF World Pole and Aerial Sports Championships. So I'm going to bring you along with me for the whole journey. As you are about to see, I did an absolutely horrible job of actually vlogging this trip. So I'm going to try this where I just come in and add some voiceover for context where needed. So starting off, our flight leaving Johannesburg was actually massively delayed. We were supposed to fly, I think it was around 9 or 10 p.m. in the evening, and our flight got delayed till 1 a.m. But we still had to get to the airport, or were recommended to get to the airport for the time of our original check-in. So we got to the airport at I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. and had to wait until 1 a.m. to actually start boarding our flight. But we eventually made it on. The first flight from Johannesburg to London Heathrow was actually not so bad. It was a long flight, but because it was 1 a.m. when we were boarding, I basically just went straight to sleep. I don't think I had the dinner or the breakfast or any of the snacks that they had out on the plane because I just slept the entire way through. Although it wasn't super comfortable, I was literally dreaming of being complimentarily upgraded to first class or business class. That's how uncomfortable I was, but it's fine. We made it through. We then had a pretty long layover in Heathrow. It was about a 5 or 6 hour layover, and I basically filmed none of it except for the part where we were traveling from one terminal to the other. We landed in Terminal 5, I believe, and then our next flight was departing from Terminal 3, so we had to get the little underground tube thing in the airport, and then we were on a bus, and then eventually we finally got to Terminal 3, where we just had to wait for 5 hours until our next flight. The flight from Heathrow to Krakow in Poland was at least not too long and a pretty uneventful flight. But it was a late afternoon flight out from Heathrow, which meant that we only arrived in Krakow at around 10 to 8 in the evening, which meant that it was too late for us to get the last train, which left from Krakow to Kielce, which was the city that we were actually competing in and had our accommodation booked in. So we had to book an airport transfer. Luckily, we had figured this out beforehand and had pre-booked this. But then once we landed in Krakow at 8 p.m., it was actually a little bit after 8 p.m. in the evening because our plane was slightly delayed. Once we landed, we then had the hour and a half long car journey where we drove from Krakow to Kielce before we could actually get into our accommodation and our Airbnbs. We made it to Poland. Are you also taking pictures? I made it to Poland. It is now Sunday, and it took a full 28 hours of traveling to get here, but I am finally here. I'm with Daniela and Dina. I arrived to the Airbnb last night and met up with them, and then went to sleep because it was very, very late at night when I arrived. And now we are on our way to my first training session and Daniela and Dee's third training session in Poland to run our routines, which is exciting. Today we went to the pole studio, we ran our routines, and then we went to the hoop studio and Nikita trained and did her routine, and everyone had a really, really good day. We all had good runs. I had a good run, Daniela had a good run, Dee had a good run. Are you guys happy?
Yeah. That was a bit much.
So we're all happy. Nikita also had good runs, and then we went for lunch at a nice cute little restaurant. We got pasta and that was really good, and now we're just home and chilling again until tomorrow. We do it all again, so we've got training again tomorrow, and then we're gonna go out for pizza tomorrow.
Yeah, pizza.
It is day 2 in Poland for me today, and we are on the way to the studio again for training. So we had a good training session at the pole studio. Dee didn't run his routine because he's taking a rest day, but he'll run his routine tomorrow. Daniela and I ran our routines.
Was okay.
Was okay. Not quite as good as yesterday, but at least it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And now we're going to the hoop studio for Nikita to run her routine.
English?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I don't think it speaks English. We all finished with training for our day. We went to lunch and now we're at the mall and we've been doing some shopping. Nikita, what did you buy?
What did I get? Okay, I got my scarf from Sephora.
It is the end of the day. We had a really fun day.
It was such a good day.
It was such a great day.
We did a lot. We trained. We ate lunch. And
The best pizza.
Best pizza.
Such good
And
Except
pasta.
we actually figured out we went to the wrong restaurant.
We supposedly went to the place where you're supposed to have traditional Polish food. We didn't.
So the lady that owns the studio that we've been training at recommended to Daniela 2 restaurants, one for the best Polish food and then one for the best pizza. And we went to this one today thinking that it was the best pizza. And then we realized only afterwards it was the one for the best traditional Polish food.
It was amazing pizza.
It was really good.
Oh, was that really a placebo effect?
So tomorrow we'll try to do the actual amazing pizza restaurant.
We'll let you know.
And then we went to the mall. So we did some shopping. We got groceries as well. So we're all stocked up.
The best part of this is at the beginning of the day, I said, we're not going to overstrain today. We're not going to do too many
We're not gonna walk
walks
too
or
much.
steps, or we're going to try and take it a bit easy. We walked a whole what?
10 kilometers.
No, but how many less than
Oh,
yesterday?
a whole 100 meters less than
100
yesterday. So we didn't do a good job of resting. But it's fine. Daniela has a full rest day tomorrow. She's not training.
Yeah.
And then Dee had his rest day today.
So,
But he still walked 10 kilometers.
10 Ks.
And then no rest days for me because I got here late. So
But you can rest once the comp starts.
once the comp starts, because I only compete like later. But we will update you again tomorrow. It's our last day of training before World starts tomorrow. So we're headed off to the studio. Dee and I are going to do our last runs. Daniela's just coaching today. She's not running today. And then the competition starts tomorrow. So that's exciting. Just finished our last training. Stopped at a little bakery, Angelina's, and we are now having, I don't know what these are called. What are they called, Dee?
They're like donuts, Polish donuts or something.
They're pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm sure they're called donashka.
Look how beautiful the day is, though. It's like actually sunny now.
Like, I almost need sunglasses.
Almost. Lucy's the only one that actually brought her sunglasses. Oh no, you got yours.
They're always ready to go.
Ready. We're on our way to the botanical gardens now because it's such a beautiful day. So we're gonna go see the gardens. The final
Yes. Okay, I found 10. Okay. Are we ready for our wishes? Kate, are you making a video?
Yes, I'm doing a video. Oh. I missed. statue with some hidden horses in it. One horse. We think that's 2 horse. 3 horses. Put it onto your ankles and then do like a straddle sit.
I'm okay, but
Just check.
No, don't go on the top, go on the little one. So that you're more safe.
Are you feeling? How does it feel? I got you.
I can just hear your mom looking at you. Your mom's like, oh my god.
All our stuff that's just
That'd be
like
so
being
funny.
dumped.
So you're facing that.
We're having a wonderful time at the botanical gardens, seeing all the flowers, getting all the photos, and everyone else is just there having a little sit down on the grass. I don't think it's a picnic because they don't have food. It is the first day of competition today, and we are up very early because our rehearsal time this morning is at 8 a.m. So we need to be there at the competition venue super early this morning so that we can register and then rehearse. So Daniela and Dee are finishing their breakfast now, and then we're gonna head over to the competition venue and see it for the first time, which is exciting. Okay, so competition day 1, this was our rehearsal day. It was a little bit stressful for us because we had to arrive at the venue for our rehearsal, which was scheduled to start at 8 a.m. and registration opened at 8 a.m. and we had to register before rehearsing at 8 a.m. So it was a little bit stressful and a little bit tight, but luckily we were able to get our registration done, and then they were running a little bit late with starting the rehearsal. So we had a little bit of time to kind of chill, warm up a little bit and get ready for our rehearsal. It was Team South Africa's pole rehearsal first because they do the pole rehearsal and the aerial hoop rehearsal separately. So we had first go on the poles, and we were sharing space with a number of other countries. I think there were like 5 countries in total. And for pole, it's pretty nice because once you get access to the poles as your country, everyone kind of just alternates in between static and spinning. So we can all kind of just take whatever time we need to test whatever we want to test. Most of us were just there to test the grip of the pole and then how fast the spinning pole spun, as well as spacing between the poles. So we were all able to test that out, and the poles were feeling lovely. Busy with our rehearsal now. All the pole people are on stage rehearsing, and the hoop people are up later. Once we had finished with pole rehearsal, we had a short break before we started with hoop rehearsal. All the hoop competitors from Team SA had their chance to test their hoops. For hoop, you have to go one at a time, and they are very strict with the time limits because they obviously have to adjust the height and the size of the hoop depending on who is rehearsing, because there's 3 different size options and 3 different height options for hoop that you can choose from. So it's not like pole where everyone can just kind of alternate and you can share time with your teammates to kind of maximize your time. It's very, very strict with hoop. We have done our rehearsal, our practice, and then we've been to check our sports forms and our music. But there were a few issues with some people's forms, and we weren't able to check any of the artistic forms yet. So now we're in another long queue. It's like super long behind us, the 3rd queue of the day, to try and see if we can sort out all of our issues and make sure that all of our forms are correct and that there's nothing is going to go wrong. And Shuri is competing today. How are you feeling? We're back. It's opening ceremony time now. So we've just arrived. It is a little bit cold and rainy. It's been a very miserable day today. Look at all these clouds. Daniela and Dia are all bundled up in their hoods. So we had checked forms and music, everything was good, and then we had actually gone back to our Airbnb to rest and relax and get some food before coming back for the opening ceremony. The whole South African team met up a little bit early before the opening ceremony to choreograph our little entrance piece. Each team gets just a few seconds to kind of come on stage and be presented, and you get to choreograph like a short little entrance piece. So that's exactly what we were figuring out as what we wanted to do for that.
Everyone ready for opening ceremony?
Unfortunately, because D was representing Nigeria and not South Africa, he couldn't be a part of our South African team entrance. He had to do his own entrance.
And South Africa!
After opening ceremony was over, we stayed to watch the competition for a bit because both Cherie and Christine from Team South Africa were competing, so we wanted to stay and support them. Cherie competed in artistic aerial hoop senior women, and Christine was competing in artistic pole for masters 40+. Day 2 of competition today, and Daniela competes today. Yay! She's just prepping her prop, typing on her typewriter. And we're chilling here this morning before we go to the venue a little bit later this afternoon for the Daniela to compete. Yay! We are at the venue. Today's the day! Today's the day! It wasn't just Daniela who was competing on that day. The Thursday, Chloe was also doing her solo for aerial hoop sports. So we obviously went to watch and support her for that as well. And because I am an aerial hoop coach, I was allowed to sit with her in the kiss and cry while she waited for her score.
From South Africa, 35.5.
Of competition. Nikita and Debbie compete today. We're just on the way. And Alana and Cherie in the evening. And we're just on the way to Zabka to try and get some protein milk for the day. Context on the protein milk is that in Poland, we found at like the little convenience store there called Zabka, these protein milkshakes, basically, that it's just like flavored milk with a whole lot of protein, and I think it was like 26 grams of protein per milk. So we became obsessed with them to the point where we bought out all the stock in the Zabka that was closest to our Airbnb, and then had to go to a different Zabka to see if we could find more of these protein milks. Anyway, back to the competition. This was Debbie receiving her score. She was the first competitor of our day.
37.
That was Debbie realizing that she had won her division. She didn't even realize when her score was called, the 37, that it was the highest score in her division and that she was in first place. It was such a cute, wholesome moment to watch her realize that she had actually won. Unfortunately, there were people that in her division that were contesting their scores. So basically they were unhappy with the scores and lodged a dispute with the judges. And this happens quite frequently at Worlds. And when this happens, they oftentimes have to delay the medal ceremonies while they sort that out. So poor Debbie had her medal ceremony delayed to the late afternoon session, so she only got her medal much later. In the meantime, Nikita completed her sports routine, and this was super special for me because she is the first person that I've actually coached for Worlds. I choreographed this routine with her and made it for her and have been training with her basically since Nationals ended for this at Worlds, and it was just such an amazing moment to watch her on stage and watch all her hard work and all our training that we had put in come to life.
From South Africa, 49.9. Next on the aerial hoop stage, we have from Poland, Bartłomiej Ataman.
Because you're so amazing, so they have to make sure that you're not on drugs, Daniela.
It's me back again for more context. So Daniela and Cami both competed in their sections, and then Daniela immediately as she came off stage got called by the WADA personnel for anti-doping testing. So she literally had to go sit at the kiss and cry, receive her score, and then got taken away to go do a drug test basically. And then Chloe and Jenna competed, and I again got to sit with them to hear their scores.
We also have the scores for Chloe Arlett and Jenna Biart from South Africa, 43.6.
So I have done an awful job at vlogging the past few days. It is currently Saturday evening. I compete tomorrow, and I've filmed like bits and pieces throughout the time to like post on like Instagram and stories and reels and stuff, but I don't think I've like actually properly vlogged much of the whole competition, like pretty much since Wednesday. I think Wednesday was the last day I actually like vlogged properly. It's just been super busy. We've had like obviously a lot of South Africans competing this year. We got a team of 11, so that is like huge, and it's just been super busy with me coaching as well, and then like everyone else that's like we've just been there to support. So I've been terrible at vlogging, but I'm gonna try be a little bit better tomorrow, although I am competing tomorrow, so, and I'm coaching, my student is competing, so I don't think I'll be much better, but I'm gonna try to be better. Anyway, it's been a super good experience for competition so far. My student Nikita competed on Thursday. Was it Thursday or was it Friday? The days are all like blurring into one, but she competed. She got a really good score. She improved on her national score by like so much. I'm so proud of her. She did such a great job. Daniela and Cami competed today, and so did Dee. I've come home. I've left Daniela and Cami at the venue because his awards will only be later tonight, and I compete very early tomorrow morning, so I needed to come home and just get some rest and prepare for tomorrow. So I'm busy like setting up everything. I've got like all my makeup and stuff that I'm going to use tomorrow morning there on the table, because I have to wake up at like 5 a.m. to start hair and makeup, and then I'm going to start my warm-up here, and then I'm going to have to head to the venue at literally as soon as the venue opens at 8 a.m. I'm going to be in the venue, and then I compete at 8:40 a.m. Luckily there is like daylight savings. I don't know if it's going or coming. I think it's being implemented, but anyway, it means I get an extra hour of sleep. So even though I have to be up at 5, it'll really be like being up at 6 because I get that extra hour of sleep. So that's wonderful. But yeah, I'll try to keep you updated tomorrow and see how it goes. Like I mentioned, I woke up really early to get started on my hair and makeup. But what I didn't mention is that for the past like 2 or so days, I had been feeling quite terribly sick. I basically just had like cold and flu-ish symptoms, but the day before I competed was absolutely horrendous for me. My nose was running, my throat was starting to feel really, really sore, and I was just very fatigued. That day at the competition venue, I must have drunk about 4 bottles of orange juice, just trying to get some vitamin C into my system. I was also drinking green tea with honey, just anything that I could do to try and make my throat feel a little bit better. And at one point, I even ended up finding a quiet corner backstage in between when people were competing, and I had a little bit of like a nap. So because of how I was feeling, my stress for competing was at an all-time high. I generally don't get super nervous before competitions. I think by this stage, I'm pretty used to competing. Even last year at Worlds, like I was a little bit nervous, but not so bad. But the day before I competed this time, I was like stressing so much just because I was worried that my body like physically wasn't going to be able to do what I needed to do. Luckily, though, when I woke up, I was feeling a little bit better. And I think like as the adrenaline started kicking in and like my nerves were ramping up in the morning, that kind of helped suppress whatever sickness I was feeling, because I managed to be feeling well enough to kind of get through doing hair and makeup and warming up and everything.
We're on the way.
Yay! It's day.
From South Africa, 36.7.
You're 3-time fucking world champion, man.
With 3 golds.
Please stand for the national anthem of South Africa.
Sigalele Africa, Manu Pagomisu Pondo Ayo.
So I got my 3rd gold medal at Worlds. Obviously, I am thrilled with that, really, really happy. And although it's not the highest score that I've ever gotten at Worlds, I'm still like really happy with the score that I did manage to achieve. But then after my medal ceremony, it was time to get back into coaching mode because Nikita was performing her second routine of the competition, her artistic routine. Her routine went really, really well. She performed it beautifully. But with artistic, you don't get the scores straight away. So we really had no idea how she did in terms of whether the judges liked the routine or not, or appreciated the performance. So we had the long wait until her medal ceremony to actually be able to find out how she did. And I'm just going to give a quick warning for headphone users because the next clip might be a little bit loud.
Of 67.3, Nakita Santos from South Africa. And in first place with a score of 77.1, Alexandra Alexieyeva from the Ukraine.
I don't think I have ever been quite so excited in my life. I was obviously thrilled and so proud as her coach. It was honestly like one of the highlights of the whole competition for me. But then last on the agenda for the entire competition was Ultra. Cami was competing in the Ultra division for South Africa, so we stayed to watch her performance. And I think she absolutely killed it. And by the end of that, we were all far too exhausted to think of anything for dinner, so we ended up ordering some McDonald's, and the nuggets I got were disgusting. 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
Worlds is officially over. We made it. Just 5 very long, very intense days, but it was really, really good.
Yeah, I think we had fun. Right? We had fun.
It was exhausting but fun.
It was fun. And now we are on our way from Kielce to Krakow. And we're going to spend some time in Krakow before Daniela and I go on to do our workshops in the city whose name we cannot pronounce. Okay, after only a little bit of confusion, we managed to get our train tickets. So our departure is scheduled for 9:45 and we should be in Krakow by like 11:30, which is great. This day ended up turning into a bit of a mess. We were able to fairly easily get the train from Kielce to Krakow and then quickly dropped our main luggage off at a storage place because we didn't want to lug it around with us for the rest of the day. We then decided to, while we were in Krakow, quickly go to the Bunny Cafe, which in my opinion was a bit overrated. You have to pay extra to actually pet and see the bunnies, and it seemed a bit overpriced for what it was. So we ended up just having drinks there. The drinks were not bad, although there was a bug in my raspberry lemonade. And we're all there sitting, chatting, laughing, having a good time. And one thing is that South Africans tend to be quite a bit louder on average than Europeans, or especially Polish people, I guess. So we were a little bit too loud, and the manager for the Bunny Cafe ended up coming over to us and telling us to quieten down. So that was a little awkward and embarrassing. But anyway, we're at the Bunny Cafe, and Daniela, Camille, and I we don't have long. So we're at the Bunny Cafe, and then we have to go and get our train to go to another city to then change trains to then go to our workshops. And we lost track of time a little bit and ended up leaving the Bunny Cafe a little bit later than we should have. We were literally like speed walking, almost running down the street trying to get to the train station, and we missed our train. So that was super frustrating. We're like now at the train station, we've missed this train, and we're trying to look at the boards and figure out when is the next kind of departure that we can take. And we managed to figure out it looks like there's a train departing to the city that we need to go to in the next half an hour. So we figure out what platform we need to be on, go wait at the platform, and then manage to get onto this train. And as we're sitting on the train, right before the train leaves, someone comes up to us and is like, "You're sitting in my assigned seat." And we're a little confused because we didn't know there was assigned seating. So we get up, try and like find an empty seat. We managed to find 3 different empty seats, but we're all sitting kind of like far from each other. And we're all kind of turning around to look at each other, trying to figure out like, are we even on the right train now? And the train then starts leaving. So we're kind of stuck. We don't know if we're now on the right train. We didn't realize that there was assigned seating. We can't see anywhere on our ticket that says that we have assigned seats or anything like that. And then the ticket lady starts coming around. She checks our ticket and very quickly tells us that we are in fact on the wrong train. Thankfully, it was still going to the right city, but we had booked the wrong type of ticket. Luckily, the ticket lady ended up being very, very helpful and helped us buy tickets for the train that we were actually on. Now, in the meantime, because the train that we ended up taking left later than the one we were initially supposed to take, we're gonna arrive late for these workshops. So we message the lady who owns the studio that the workshops are at, and we tell her, look, we're gonna be late, we've missed our train. But at this point, there's nothing we can do. We're on the fastest train that we can get there. Luckily, the changeover went well, and we managed to get on the right train to go to our actual final destination. At this stage, it looks like we're going to be about half an hour late, which is not too bad. So we think we'll quickly get an Uber from the train station to the studio and then be there not too late at least. That turned out not to be the case because when we arrive at the train station in the city for the workshops, there are absolutely no Ubers. And we start walking thinking like maybe if we walk a little bit, we'll be able to like actually book an Uber. Nope. This is a tiny, tiny little town and we did not even think that there would be no Ubers, but there are absolutely none. So we have to walk all the way to the studio. In the meantime, the studio owner is messaging us saying that she's like delaying the start of the workshop, hoping that we can get there. And what was supposed to be like a 10-minute trip in the Uber is now like a half an hour walk. But eventually we get there. They did delay the start of the workshop a little bit. So we missed a bit of the warm-up, but we're then able to join in with the rest of the workshop. The workshops ended up being super, super challenging for me. And I think I was also just emotionally drained from the 5 days of competition and then the chaos of that day actually getting to the workshops. I was like, at that point, why did I even book these workshops? I was also starting to get really homesick at this point. I wanted to be with my family, be with Cody, and like the high of the competition was really crashing down very rapidly. But it was still a really good experience. We stayed at that town overnight in a little Airbnb. And then the next morning, we caught the train back to Krakow. We are now in the train on the way back to Krakow. We've already taken one train. We did our workshops last night. It was very, very fun, but very late. And now we think we're in the right seats, but we don't know because the tickets are like in Polish, like very Polish. So we hope we're in the right seats. We hope we're not going to get kicked out. Yesterday, we sat on the wrong seats in the train going there, and we got told. Yeah, we were kicked out. We got told we were in the wrong place. They seemed quite annoyed with us. But so we're hoping we're right now. Okay, I am here in Krakow. I've separated from the others now and I've checked into my little Airbnb. It's just a small one. Like, there's literally not even a couch or a TV here. Wait, let me show you. So that's the front door. There's like a little kitchen, a table. My suitcases are already a mess on the floor here, a desk, and then the bed over here, and then bathroom through there. So it's just a tiny little place, but it's perfect because I'm only here for one night and then I leave tomorrow. I go to the airport and I go home, and I'm really excited because I'm starting to feel really homesick now. I get this after every comp where, like, after the competition, there's just such this, like, you're like on such a high for 5 days straight in a row. There's so much adrenaline, so much going on, and then as soon as the comp is over, it crashes. And like every time I've come to Worlds, it's been that feeling of like, okay, the competition's over, I just want to go home. And I wasn't originally supposed to be flying home yesterday and like be home now, but my flight got cancelled or moved. Like, I wasn't going to be able to make my connection. It was a whole situation. I had to change my flight, so I was like, okay, might as well make the most of the time that I've got here. So that's why I joined Daniela and Cami for those workshops with Lydia in Živik, or I'm not even sure how you say the name of that town, but that's why I went to those workshops, and then why I've got the night in Krakow now. But I'm gonna try and make the most of it. So I'm actually on my way out and I'm gonna go for a walking tour. I found a company that does like free walking tours of Krakow, and they start at 3, so I've got like 20 minutes to try and get to from here to the old town and start at a walking tour. I'm running late for the walking tour. I just didn't quite know how I was getting there, and was gonna walk and then was gonna take too long to walk, so then I jumped on a random tram, but now I'm on my way. I should be getting there.
First of all, this is Jump Tower, and see the white stone on the bottom. So that's the part from the second cathedral. And when you go inside and you go to the tombs, the first chamber of the tombs is actually from the second cathedral. Everything rest you see, it's 14th century. It was started to build by King Casimir the Great. So again, the university, the mistresses, as a mission is pretty.
Back at the Airbnb now after a little bit of a stressful time out in Krakow. I ran late for my walking tour, but I hopped on a random tram and it happened to be the right one, so I actually managed to get there like 5 minutes late basically for the tour, so I was still able to join it, and that was actually really good. It was just like very rainy the whole time and I didn't have an umbrella, but luckily the tour guide let me borrow his. I would actually really highly recommend the free walking tour of Krakow Old Town. Like, it was really, really good. Definitely would do that, like, or recommend that to do if you're in Krakow, especially for a short time. I feel like I got to see like a nice bit of the city in just like 2 hours, which was perfect for me because I don't have that much time here. And now I'm back at the Airbnb and I've ordered Uber Eats, but Uber Eats here, it's like so weird because you can't track your order on the Uber Eats app properly. Like, it makes you say like, it says like detailed order tracking isn't available, call the merchant. And I obviously don't have a Polish SIM card, so I don't have like airtime to call the merchant. I'm like reliant on like Wi-Fi so I can WhatsApp, but it's making life a little bit difficult because my order was supposed to arrive like 5 minutes ago. It was like estimated like the latest that it would arrive was 5 minutes ago, but then I've been like waiting down by the door because I don't want to like miss the order, and then when it hadn't arrived, then it updated the order time and it's now going to take like another 20 minutes. And already like Uber Eats in Poland, we tried to order it the other night as well, and all the wait times for the restaurants are super long. So like I ordered this while I was still out, actually. Like I went to the mall after the walking tour just to get a couple of things and some dessert for tonight. I wanted some like a sweet treat, so I'll show you, and I've got like a really cute little like pavlova thing to have for dessert, and like some chocolates and some sweets and stuff like that. But then while I was there was free Wi-Fi, so I placed the order while I was there, and then I still like took like 20 minutes to get back here, which was also very stressful because I wasn't sure which tram I was supposed to be taking, and then I got on a tram and then got off a tram that turned out to be the right one, and then I had to like ended up walking to the next tram station instead of like being on the tram, and then I nearly got run over by like a car and a police van because I was not sure like what part of the road I was even supposed to be on. I thought I was on a pedestrian area, and turns out it was not just a pedestrian area, there were also cars there, so I nearly got run over. It was very, very stressful. It was raining the whole time, but I eventually made it back. And then it was still like I've been waiting probably like half an hour to like 40 minutes here, plus getting here, which was like 20 minutes. So it's been like over an hour now that I've been waiting for my food, and I'm hungry and I want to eat. And now I'm like regretting I should have just like picked up some food while I was at the mall. But I was like, oh, I feel like, you know, treat myself to some Uber Eats. But Uber Eats here is stressful. Don't recommend Uber Eats, but do recommend a walking tour. So that's my verdict on Krakow. I cannot believe this, but literally 2 minutes after I finished filming that clip, my order got cancelled by the place on Uber Eats. So now I have to try and find another place to order from, and then hope that doesn't get cancelled, and hope that that comes quickly enough, because it's getting late and I'm so hungry. Okay, new plan. I found a pizza place that does pick up from Uber Eats, and it's like a 2-minute walk away, so I'm gonna go get that now. We did it. I finally got dinner. I'm so excited for this. I don't think I've ever been so happy to have food in front of me. I'm like starving. And that brings us to the end of my whole trip to Poland for Worlds. The whole trip back to Johannesburg was relatively uneventful, although my hand luggage did get searched when I went through the security at Heathrow, and they confiscated one of my grip products, even though it had been fine on the way to Poland, so not sure why it was different on the way back. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end if you did, and putting up with my subpar vlogging abilities. Please do like the video if you did enjoy it, and leave a comment telling me what you thought. And if you're not already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Bye.